Thinking about buying or selling in Portland? Don't do anything until you watch this, because the market is changing and it's already changed a lot. It's changing in ways that could cost you thousands if you don't have the right plan. Homes that were once getting 3, 5, 8 offers in the past few years, some of them are only getting 1 offer, 2 offers. Some are getting none at all. I'm Stewart, born and raised right here in Portland, been a real estate broker for over 24 years with over 100 5-star reviews, and we help hundreds of clients navigate this market through every kind of cycle. And let's break down exactly what's happening right now in the Portland area and what it means for you. At first glance, Portland's housing market looks surprisingly calm, even competitive. According to Redfin, homes in Portland are receiving around 2 offers on average and selling in roughly 32 days. The median sales price is sitting around $520,000, which is actually up 4% year over year. The median price per square foot is $315,000, up slightly 0.5% from last year. And in September of 2025, 627 homes sold compared to 535 a year ago. That is a 17% jump in the number of closed sales. So yes, on the surface, the numbers look super healthy and stable. It's easy to look at these stats and think, oh, things are holding steady. Maybe we're back to normal. But here's where the story starts to split. If you were to look at data, here we have Redfin. The average days on market has ticked up from 29 to 32, and homes aren't flying off the shelf the way we were in 2021, 2022, and parts of 2023. And while prices are technically higher, that doesn't tell you which neighborhoods are driving those gains or which ones are starting to cool off. Because make no mistake, the market isn't moving evenly across the board. We're seeing it change in all different pocket areas of Portland. Some areas are still seeing strong competition and multiple offers, while others are getting totally overlooked, sitting for weeks, tons of price reductions. And if you're buying or selling right now, understanding those nuances can mean the difference between winning or overpaying. Now that we've looked at the service level calm, let's talk about what's actually changed underneath. Because in 2025, things are quietly reshaping how homes are being sold in Portland. It is not, I repeat, a crash. It is a shift. And understanding this shift is exactly how buyers and sellers win right now. The first big change, time. In August, listings inside the Portland city limits averaged around 32 days on market, up from 26 a year ago same time. That's roughly a full week longer. Across the greater metro area, total market time now averages right around 62 days compared to 52 days last year. In plain terms, the urgency has cooled. Buyers no longer have to rush in, see it that first few days on market and write a competitive offer. There's some breathing room and just changes the entire dynamics of negotiating. The second shift, negotiation power has returned. In August, about 35% of Portland listings showed a price reduction, up slightly from a year ago. That's a big deal. It means sellers are actually having to finally adjust expectations, and buyers have more leverage for things like inspection credits, closing cost help, rate buy downs, especially in homes that have been sitting longer than 30 days or more, and there's a lot of them. Now, this is a huge change from the take it or leave it we dealt with as a buyer's agent in 2021, 2023. Today, if you know how to negotiate, there's actual real opportunity here. A lot of our clients are experiencing this when we're going in to negotiate for them, which is something we love to do. We are not afraid to do it. And if you're looking for an experienced agent to help you in this process, you know who to call. Inventory's built up, but not from new sellers. So here's something interesting. Inventory feels higher right now, but not because there's a wave of new sellers hitting the market in Portland. In fact, new listings are down by 7.2% year over year. Interesting, right? That's just 2,400 new homes listed versus August of last year, which was right around 2,600. And the months of inventory sits around 3.5, which is still fairly balanced, even slightly lower than July at 3.7 months. So why does it feel like there's more to choose from? Because homes are lingering on the market, not because we have some big oversupply. Even if you're a buyer right now looking in the market in specific areas of Portland, we get that feedback. It's like, well, where's the inventory? They've already looked through the stuff that's been sitting there. It's just sitting there longer and longer. So it feels like we have inventory because we're not absorbing it as fast. Now let's make something clear. Demand is still here in Portland. In fact, pending sales are up 10.9% year over year, and closed sales have climbed 3.3% in August. August. So that tells us buyers haven't disappeared. They're just being more selective and more strategic. Deals are still happening. They're just taking more time, more negotiations, and buyers, well, they're waiting. They're waiting for the house that might consider to lower its price. They're waiting for interest rates. They're being far more critical on condition, repairs, and they're getting swooned away by new construction offerings and incentives. So if you're a seller, heed this warning and know that your presentation has never been more important. And for buyers, you can wait for the right home and be critical. You didn't have that leverage the last 3 years. And finally, this is probably the biggest takeaway of them all. Portland is now a tale of two markets. In North Portland, the median price jumped 10.8% year over year, and homes are selling in 20 days. That's faster than the average from last year. But then you move over to Northwest Portland, and it's totally the opposite story. The median price has dropped by 15%, and it's taking 63 days on market on average to sell. That's a pretty big comparison jump from even last year. Now let's get down to the zip codes, because this is where you can really see a difference. In 97214, close in East Side, the average sales price is right around $649,000, up slightly year over year, and homes are going pending in 16 days. But you jump over to the Westside, the South Beaverton area of 97007, which the median price is around $657,000, and the homes are taking 117 days on market. So what's the takeaway? This is a hyper local market here in Portland. If you're buying, you can get a little more aggressive in your negotiations in those slower markets. So if you're a seller, you need to price very strategically and hit the market with the strongest presentation you can in areas that are cooling. And it's important to know if you're in one of those zones. So the real story of 2025 isn't just about pricing. It's about tempo, it's about timing, and it's about tactics. Homes are taking longer to sell on average. Negotiations has made a comeback, and neighborhoods are moving at two completely different speeds. So now that we've seen how two different parts of Portland are moving at very different speeds, let's look at why. Because it's not just about prices. It's about inventory, supply, and timing. And when you zoom in on the data, you start to see how this balanced market really works. So on paper, Portland sits at about 3.5 months of inventory, which technically lands us in a balanced market because that's even down from 3.7 months of inventory this July. Now, here's the catch. It's not because we suddenly had a big bunch of inventory hit the market. The new listings are actually down by 7% year over year. And in August, it was down even further. So what's really happening is homes are just taking a lot longer to sell. The total market time is up to 62 days on market, whereas only 52 days on market this time last year. So that extra supply we're feeling, it's mostly homes lingering, not an influx of new sellers. Translation, the market feels looser, but it's a pacing issue, not a flood of inventory that just hit the market. Here's the part a lot of people miss. Demand hasn't disappeared. In fact, pending sales are nearly up 11% year over year, and closed sales are up over 3%. That's the crazy part. So that tells us buyers are still active. They're just taking their time, doing more research, and negotiating harder before writing the offers. Translation, it's not the buyers that don't exist. It's that they're more strategic than they've ever been in years because they can be. Now, here's something not getting enough attention. The rental construction pipeline is tightening fast. According to Axios Portland, new apartment completions are projected to drop 54% in 2025 with only about 3,900 new units expected. Why does that matter? Because fewer new rentals in 2026 means some renters may finally have to make the jump to buying, and that could keep for sale inventory tighter than it appears on actual paper. Translation, 2026 could bring quiet upward pressure on prices if rental supply starts shrinking. That's the dirty little secret we have in Portland, is that we don't have enough rentals for the amount of renters, and it's not any more cheaper in a lot of cases. So a lot of renters are going to be forced into considering buying. Let's talk interest rates right now because they're acting like an on and off switch for the market. The 30-year fixed rate is averaging right around 6.3% if you look at the September 25th week, and it's up slightly from 6.26% the week before. Now, when rates hover in the mid-sixes, many would-be sellers stay locked into their existing mortgages while buyers become pickier. But every small dip in rate sparks a quick burst of urgency, sometimes just a week or two before, and then guess what? Things things just cool off again. So rates are driving short-term surges and slowdowns. Smart buyers are using those dips right now to strike at homes that they've been waiting for. Nationally, we're seeing a similar trend. Active listings in the US are up about 21% year over year, making the 22nd straight month of gains and crossing 1 million active listings for the 4th month in a row. So Portland's more options, more time vibe is part of a bigger national cooling pattern, but one with a few major differences. Our micro markets still behave very, very differently on price point and zip code. So Portland is following national trends, but the story is still playing out very, very hyper locally here. And all of that is changing how people are thinking and acting, which brings us to the next part, buyer and seller psychology, because behind all of these data points is a human behavior. And in 2025, that behavior has changed dramatically. The biggest shift in the Portland housing market right now isn't inventory or pricing, it's actually psychology. Homes that used to sell in a weekend are now taking closer to a month or more. City listings are averaging around 32 days on market. That's up from 26 last year at the same time. And across the metro, total market time is up 62 days compared to 52 days just a year ago. Buyers know they have more time. They're paying attention. They're no longer just rushing in to write the offer the first day on the market that it hit. The fear of missing out or waiting for it to be snapped up is kind of gone. For the past few years, homeowners with ultra low interest rates were the biggest factor keeping inventory frozen, but that is beginning to change. For several years after COVID-19, Oregon's housing market experienced a rare inversion, where majority of homeowners held fixed rate mortgages under 3%, a level historically reserved for a small minority of buyers. That rate lock-in effect reshaped affordability and anchored thousands of homeowners to their properties, essentially trapping our supply. But as the second quarter of 2025, that inversion has finally reversed. For the first time since 2020, we're seeing more homeowners with rates above 3% than below it. So what that means is the peak influence of COVID era rates are starting to pass and more people are starting to consider moving again. That subtle shift could open up a lot new inventory heading into 2026 and slightly loosen a market that has been stuck for years. So it's not just about how many homes are on the market, it's why they're there. We've got listings lingering longer, fewer new rentals ahead, rates that toggle buyer activity week to week, and now a slow release of homeowners finally stepping off the sidelines, entering the market, could actually bring a surge of new inventory. Even though urgency is cooling, affordability is a key driver in how fast homes are moving. On the inner east side, you're going to find that a fast moving price point looks somewhere between about $500 to $650. You move over to the west side, you're going to see inventory be between $500 and $600, moves faster than anything above it. It's all about where in Portland. So price point dictates speed right now, because guess what? Affordability is the next thing that really, really matters to buyers. That means sellers, reset your expectations. Across the metro, homes are averaging about 62 days on market, not the 30 or less that we've seen in recent years. The list to sell ratio has softened as well. So to most sellers, that means you're not necessarily getting 100% of your price or more anymore. That means your pricing right from the day one is super critical. Buyers will not chase you. They will not go after you, even if you're above your listed value. Thinking like most sellers, oh, why don't they just write us an offer? No, you have got to be in the range or on the low side of the range or even ahead of your competition. I'm sorry to say it for you sellers, but buyers have moved from panic buying to patient buying. Sellers, the shift has started. It's not about testing your highest price. It's about pricing it smart or you will sit. The market is calmer, it's more measured, it's more negotiable, which means timing and strategy mean more than ever right now. So if urgency has faded, negotiations are back, and affordability still drives the fastest moving homes, what does that actually mean for you? If you are a buyer, leverage has returned. About 35% of listings saw price drops in August, and that's a small uptick from a big signal that sellers are a lot more flexible. So here is your strategy. Target homes that have been on the market for a while, 30 days or more. Those sellers are usually more open to offers below asking. Be strategic about location. Areas like the inner sides of Portland are still moving fast. So if you're shopping in those areas, you might need to come more prepared. Compare new construction incentives. A lot of builders right now are offering huge rate buy downs, closing costs, and they can compete pretty healthily with resale homes. So in this market, patient wins in some neighborhoods and speed wins in others. That's probably the hardest message to tell buyers right now, is that it's not all areas of Portland are operating the same. Some areas, maybe ones you're looking in, are going super duper fast. It's not acting like what I'm saying as far as a slowdown in the market. And then there's other areas where you can get a deal, and especially in new construction, which we're experts on negotiating with builders in new construction. So if that's you and you're looking for good representation, you know who to call. If you're a seller here in Portland, this is not the time to price it like 2021. Homes are averaging 62 days or higher on market, with lots of price reductions if not priced correctly. And if you overprice, it is the fastest way to get less in the end, almost guaranteed. So the best price homes right now are the ones sitting in inner Northeast, priced correctly, averaging time on market less than 20 days, hitting the sweet spot and flying off the shelf. But that's not every area in Portland. So if you're outside of those hotspot areas, you need to price it right. Don't price it like it was a year ago. Look at the comps with an experienced agent. Look at what staging makes for the difference. Being willing to get your house really ready for market, even being willing to negotiate with a buyer should they ask for closing costs, etc. All these things matter now more than ever if you're going to sell a property here in Portland. Timing your move matters. And here's how it typically plays out in the Portland metro area. Spring, March to June, more listings, higher competition, slightly stronger prices. Late summer, fall, fewer buyers, but more motivated sellers, and that's great for negotiating as a buyer. Winter, slowest period for both sides, except longer timelines, but potentially less competition. So whether you're buying or selling, your timing can actually affect your bottom line as much as your strategy. So if you're a buyer, target homes sitting for a lot longer days on market, like 30 plus days for negotiation opportunities. You're gonna watch for those short-term dips, those moments that still spark bursts of activity. Do not overlook the builders right now. They're offering massive incentives. If you're a seller, you gotta price realistically from day one. You gotta be flexible. You might wanna be open to concessions, definitely looking at repairs that stand out. Invest in your presentation. You gotta have a move-in ready house. They sell faster and for more. And so the bottom line is, this isn't a one-size-fits-all market. It's about understanding your micro market, your neighborhood, your price point, and your timing. Portland's real estate market is changing, and it's never been more important to hire the right real estate agent to help you if you're serious about buying here locally or even selling. You deserve to have a seasoned professional who knows how to navigate this market. And if that's you, reach out. We'd love to help you make the next move with confidence.